What's up guys, Adam from Say Exotics, welcome to the channel. As promised, this is going to be a Q&A session. First time I've done one, so bear with me. A few of you guys have indeed sent me some questions to answer, so I'm going to do my best to answer them for you right now. Going through them, some of them are topics I'm going to cover in an upcoming video, and some of them, if you scroll back, you might actually see the answer to some of them as well. So we'll kick off straight away. And we'll go for a question from Going Upa. So thank you for that question. The question was, what is your biggest fear within the reptile hobby? That's an easy one for me. My biggest fear is that the UK government impose legislation similar to that in Spain, where they put like a blanket ban on ball pythons. Obviously ball pythons is all I really work with. Obviously I have the retic, the super dwarf retic, and I do plan on keeping a few little sort of pet sort of species, but what I breed and my passion is for ball pythons. I think if the UK government are or become as blindsided as the Spanish government, I think, you know, that could lead to some really bad things in the UK. That'd be my worst fear, is if someone told me I couldn't do what I love. That's probably about it. I mean, the other stuff doesn't really bother me. You know, the market crashing, going up and down, doesn't bother me. I don't do this to make money. A lot of people could relate to that. You don't make a lot of money doing this unless you're working with brand new jeans and the high top end stuff. People at my level, a lot of people in the UK do not make a lot of money doing this whatsoever. Any money we do make goes straight back into it. As you guys know, I breed my own rats. That's not cheap, although I don't have to pay for the actual food, as in the rats. I don't have to go online and buy them. I do have to pay to feed the rats. I do have to pay to, you know, for their bedding and all that sort of stuff. And it takes a lot of time as well. So a lot of time that I could be, or my wife could be, doing something else. She's doing the rats. So it's not just money, it's time as well. But it doesn't matter. We love doing what we do, and we won't stop. The only way we will stop is if the government, you know, put a legislation in there saying that we can't do it. So I really hope that doesn't happen. I know like the IHS have banned like the spider gene and the jag gene in carpets, and I think the enigma gene in geckos. That doesn't bother me at all. That's just one organisation for one show. Well, 3 or 4 shows a year, but just for one show. That doesn't bother me at all. We still have the likes of Morph Market. We still have sort of the UK websites that we can use to sell our surplus animals. So that doesn't bother me. It's literally if there was a blanket ban on the species as a whole. I think that's my biggest fear. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but you never know what's around the corner, and it only takes one blindsided stupid politician to have it in for the reptile community, to try and pass a bill or to try and get something passed. So that's probably the biggest fear I have, and I think a lot of people might have the same view, especially being in the UK, wherever you are in the world actually. It only takes one person to put a spanner in the works, as they say. So yeah, that's my biggest fear. Next question, Robert Webster, thanks for the question, bud. How is the St Bernard doing, and also what is the longest you've had a hatchling before he or she found a home? St Bernard's doing great. She's getting huge. Just started recently walking her to the local park, and she loves it, although we do sort of a half a lap and she's on the floor, knackered and panting. But what I'll do at the end of this video, I'll bring her into the snake room so you guys can say hello to her, and you can see how she's doing. The second question was, what's the longest you've had a hatchling before he or she found a home? That really depends on me when I'm ready to let them go. I like my animals to have, you know, 5 or 6 consecutive strike feeds before I let them go. Although, you know, drop feeding, leaving them overnight, it's still good, they're eating, but for peace of mind I like to see a strike feed, so that way when they leave me, I'm complete confidence that those snakes are established, that they're well ahead on the feeding, and if they do go to a new home and they fail to eat, I can put it down to the stress of the move, or you know, various times of year and all that sort of stuff. So generally, you know, 5 or 6 consecutive feeds, whether that takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, doesn't matter. I'm in no rush to offload the babies. I'm not here to just flip them and make a quick buck. That's not what I'm in it for. Majority of the babies I'm producing this year are all going to be held back for my show, for my table at the Doncaster show in September. It's the first show I'm having, first show I've done, so I want to have a nice variety of animals to offer people. I might sell 1 or 2 beforehand, but the majority of the sort of cool stuff I get will be available at the show in September. Next question, Army Vet W balls, I'm guessing Army Vet with balls. Another great video. You had mentioned that you had a girl not go due to an RI. If a male is treated for an RI, is there the same risk for the female he breeds with? Very, very good question, and I've been trying to do some research on that since I saw this question, and the God's honest truth is, I don't know. It wasn't sort of proven that it was the antibiotics that made her lay slugs. I'm just assuming, because she wasn't the only one with an RI. I had quite an epidemic that year. I had 6 females, I believe, all have RIs, and every single one of them slugged out. If you scroll back through my YouTube, you'll see some videos of those clutches that were slugs, and all of those females were on antibiotics. So of course I was breeding them at the start of the season, noticed they had RI, so I immediately stopped, took them out of the breeding process, separated them from the collection. They went on to lay eggs, of course slugs, so I can only assume it's the antibiotics used. I spoke to the vet, he said it shouldn't make a difference, he said it shouldn't really do anything, but if it was one female, yeah, okay, but when it's all 6 of them, all slugging out, all being antibiotics, it tells me that there's a problem there. So the problem lies with the antibiotics and those females. If a male has an RI and is on antibiotics, I don't think he can pass on the antibiotics to the female while breeding. He may well do. Whether it affects his own sperm count, again, I don't know, I'm afraid. I have been trying to do some research for that, but I haven't been able to come up with anything. Google's rubbish when it comes to specific topics like that. So I mean, ask your own vet. If you've got a reptile vet near you, ask away and come back to me and let me know. But all I know is those 6 females had RIs, those 6 females all slugged out, not one fertile egg, so I can only assume it was the antibiotics. Okay, so next question's from Holden Balls. I like this one. My question would be, would you rather have fingers the size of legs or legs the size of fingers? What would I rather have? I think I'd rather have legs the size of fingers. I'm very busy with my hands. I can't look after the snakes with big massive hands, so it would have to be legs the size of fingers. Okay, so Paula C67. What was the first snakes you started out with? Were they morphs or normals? Like everybody else, it was a normal. When I first discovered, I went into the pet shop not even looking for a pet, looking at fish, I think. Saw just a normal raw python, absolutely fell in love with it. It was really, really cool. And when I found out that it doesn't get gigantic size, that was it. I was out doing my research, finding out what sort of tank I needed, what heating I needed, and all that sort of stuff. I went in the next day and got it. I think after that, I think the natural progression from a normal for a lot of people was a pastel, and then from that it was a spider. And I think the first morph that most people wanted to make, especially when I started out, was a bumblebee. So you needed the pastel, you needed the spider. So within a very short time I had all 3. Although my first breeding wasn't actually anything to do with a bumblebee, it was a cinnamon clutch. It was a normal to a cinnamon, was my first ever clutch that I produced. But yeah, started off with normals, just like everybody else, I think. Okay, we've got a question from KK Slimes. A few questions on here. Do you have any other pets other than snakes? Yeah, obviously we have a couple of dogs. We have a Shih Tzu, we have the Saint Bernard puppy, and we have a couple of Chihuahuas. We have the retic, but obviously that's a snake. But that's about it, other than some fish and the rats obviously next door. That's all the animals we have. I've had a variety in the past, from birds of prey, whether it be barn owls. I had a Bengal eagle owl once. We've had all sorts of reptiles, from lizards to chameleons to tortoises to turtles to frogs. We've had it all in the past. Parrots, we've had everything. But at the moment, just a few of the dogs and the snakes, really. Next question from KK Slimes. Can you do an all my pets video? Definitely. That is on the list to do. I'm going to be doing that probably next week after I get back from work. So I'll sort of showcase a couple of the dogs, all the snakes. I'll do a full sort of reptile room tour. I haven't done one for a while. I sort of focus on various, specific few animals, but I haven't done a complete tour in one video for a while, so I'll definitely do that probably next week. And the last question, can you show us your reptile room? So again, same thing, I'll do that in a video next week, where I go around the reptile room showing you what's what, showing you the complete racks, what I have in the racks, and the future plans for the room, because after this year or the end of this year, I do plan on completely changing the room, upgrading all the racks, getting brand new racks from V70s to V35s to V18s to all in the same sort of brand, just so it looks a bit more professional. I'm gonna upgrade the incubator. Gonna get a standing one rather than the short under counter one I've got now. Although this holds 10 clutches, I've got my iron one that could hold 20 clutches, and it's a sort of a stand-up one. So that's the plan going forward for then. But I'll definitely do a complete room tour. I might even shoot it tomorrow. I'll go back to work in a couple of days, so I might do it before I go back to work. But if I don't, it'll definitely be next week. So guys, that's it for now. If you've got any more questions for me, I can cover them on the next video, not an issue. But really, thank you so much to everybody who has got involved, sent a question for this little Q&A. I hope those answers were okay for you. If you need any more clarification on anything, just shoot me a message, and I'm sure I can divulge in a few topics for you. I haven't got a problem with that. So we're going to go grab Delilah, who is a Saint Bernard pup, just for you guys to say hello to. I think she's in the garden somewhere, probably digging a hole. So let's show her now. So guys, as promised, this is Delilah. Say hello. He's such a lazy dog. You're such a lazy dog. Say hello. 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 She's like 14 weeks old at the minute, and she's an absolute beast, aren't you? Aren't you? Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Get your toy. No? You want to sleep? You don't want to say hello to everyone? Size of her paws. You want to say hello to everyone? No? Oh, it's a good girl. Oh, it's a good girl. Look at the ears. Good girl. Good girl. Come here, let's go. Let's go. Delilah, what's this? Delilah. You just want to go to sleep. Hey, Delilah. Where are you going? She's gone. No, she's gone. Well, there we go, guys. She doesn't want to play. All she ever does was want to sleep. So that is the Saint Bernard puppy. So I hope that answered one of your questions as well. So until next time, guys, thanks for your support as normal, and I'll see you very, very soon.